This is the story, episode 4, and I'm going to call this one Strange Swordale. Charlie Westburn found the consistent soundtrack of rain this past week has actually been helping him focus on his quizzes, like the dull grammar one he was taking currently. But once he got into that stride of fixing comma splices, the rain suddenly dropped faster than the bass in a dubstep song. The students quickly noticed this and started to lightly whisper and ruffle. The teacher shut this down with the patronizing, "I'm guessing we're all done with our quizzes then," comment. That shut them up quickly. With a silence now too silent, Charlie started thinking of the rain. He was sure it hadn't stopped for good. It had been on and off all week. 7 days without a dark sky, but with inches of rain. Sun showers for a day are strange, for a week are stranger, but for a full week with no signs of flooding, and now that was the strangest. So strange that Charlie dare not speak about it. What would he even say? He hated to sound ungrateful about his town not flooding. Anyone still have the quiz? A voice jump-started Charlie's heartbeat. He stuck his hand up in the air and didn't even need to look to know that his was the only one up there. That was always the case with him. He could never focus on quizzes, especially boring grammar ones. He stared at the page, trying to focus. What's wrong with the following sentence? Today I found my old middle school journal, comma. The pages were tattered with slight foxing around the edges, comma. Middle school seemed like a distant memory as I flipped through the journal's pages, period. A. The edges, comma, middle school should be separated by a semicolon. B. The edges, comma, middle school should be separated by a period where middle school starts the new sentence. C. The sentence should end with an exclamation point after pages. D. Do nothing. This sentence is perfect. Who made this quiz? Charlie thought, giving his teacher a deranged stare. The last two options were ridiculous, and the very forced slight foxing around the edges seemed weird, almost as if the creators started challenging one another to put obscure phrases into their examples. Charlie sighed, because it seemed now that even the quiz was distracting him from the quiz. At the end of this long, tiring day, Charlie got on the bus. He sat and looked out the window and realized it hadn't rained since the grammar quiz incident this morning. He also noticed that Alice was throwing wads of paper at the back of his head from 2 seats behind him. The bus emptied out at Charlie's stop, and Alice ran up to him. "Happy last day of rain," she beamed as the pair started cutting through the usual backyards to get home. "Is it really done?" "That's what all the experts on here are saying," she said, pointing at her phone. Someone was paying attention in class. "Oh, come on," she groaned. "It was English. I finished that stupid grammar quiz in the first 15 minutes. You had that class first period, right?" Charlie simply nodded. "What did you think?" Those examples were ridiculous," Charlie commented, although he knew she was asking about the quiz's content. "Totally. Like slight foxing around the edges?" "What's with that?" Alice agreed as they reached Charlie's lawn. He headed towards his back door. Where do you think you're going?" "Inside, where I belong." "Come on, it's Friday. We survived a week of school and rain. Let's go on an adventure." "I hear Netflix has plenty of adventures," he said, inching back towards the house. Alice reeled him back and slipped the principal's mysterious coin out of her pocket. We flipped the coin. If the mysterious, unreadable symbol faces up, we celebrate my way. If the other mysterious symbol faces up, we'll watch Xena Warrior Princess on Netflix. Before Charlie could argue that Xena was Alice's favorite show, and it actually was a win-win for her, the coin had already been tossed. She let it hit the ground, and the instant it did, everything changed. It slammed like a magnet into the earth, sending out a force field as strong as a centralized earthquake, leaving Charlie and Alice momentarily struggling to stand still. After the wave passed, the friends frantically looked around. "What? Charlie!" She pointed at Charlie's feet before he could even start his question. And they were soaked in one of the many growing puddles in his lawn. It looked as though all the water from this week's rain had been sponged into the earth and only was now being wrung out. Alice looked panicked as she reached down for the coin. When she picked it up, it felt heavier. But the moment it left the ground, she felt the energy that had been released snap back, and surely enough, the puddles sponged back into the earth. Alice started to walk towards Charlie's driveway. "Come on," she said to the immovable boy. "Where?" "To figure out what in the name of Xena just happened, because I won that coin toss." All right, Kevin, it's up to you to figure out what's up with the coin, why it reacted so weird to the Earth, and what's going on with Charlie and Alice next week. Thank you for your lovely challenge to put slight foxing around the edges of my video. My challenge for you next week is to incorporate an Etch-a-Sketch into your story somehow. That should be fun. Sorry it took so long for this video to go up. I had a lot of technical difficulties this week, and now I'm using a new laptop, which is actually an old laptop, so the video quality is probably a lot crappier than its usual crappiness, so I'm sorry about that. I realized that last time I put this up, I failed to do the whole little like and subscribe dance that you're so good at, so if you're watching this, you like the story, you want to know what happens to Alice and Charlie, I know I do, the like and subscribe is down there. And I will see you next week, Kevin. Yeah, bye-bye.